Hey everyone! So today's going to be our first quick learning lesson about some of the terms you'll hear when you're out on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, as well as just sometimes when you're talking about bourbon and whiskey. So I said we're going to start with a term, but it's actually going to be several. So you'll hear the term rickhouse, rackhouse, warehouse, barrel house, kind of all of those used interchangeably. And what it is, a rickhouse or a rack house, barrel house, warehouse, it's typically going to be a multi-storied wood-framed building or warehouse that's used for aging whiskey barrels. Sometimes it's going to be a big brick building. Sometimes it'll be like metal-sided or tin-sided. Sometimes they're going to be 7+ stories tall. Sometimes it'll just be like a 2-story building. So they come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, but essentially it's going to be something that uses natural airflow and the temperature changes to move the whiskey in and out of the barrel. So as it gets hot, everything's going to expand. It's going to push the whiskey into the barrel. And then as it gets cold, everything's going to contract and it's going to pull that whiskey back out of the wood of the barrel and back into the spirit. So as it goes in and out of the wood, you're gonna get more color that comes with it, as well as more flavor from the wood. So you get a majority of your flavor from the wood. So these rick houses, rack houses, barrel houses, warehouses are all used to get the airflow and this temperature fluctuation from it not being climate controlled to accelerate that aging process versus if it was in a more controlled environment. The largest rick houses, rack houses will be almost 60,000 barrels will be able to fit in them. So they can be really big. They can be much smaller. I've seen 5,000 barrel rack houses or rick houses. We mentioned a few of the different materials they can be made from. That typically what you're going to see on the older ones is they're going to have wood, dirt floors, and then a level of wood above them. And then this wooden shelving, usually they've used red oak historically. And then those are going to be your racks or your ricks. A lot of times you'll see 3 per level. So 3 layers of shelving are racks per level of the building. And then those are all going to be filled with barrels. And then sometimes, like I said, they can be 7 or more stories tall. So you can fit a ton of barrels in these. But as you're driving around Kentucky and through the different distilleries, you'll see some of these buildings. Some of them, they usually have a good amount of space in between them just so they're not kind of all touching since they hold so many barrels, but they need that airflow as well. And like I said, they'll be in a lot of different shapes, sizes between how big they are, metal sides, brick siding. They can also have different designs for their airflow, the number of windows that's available. You'll see them painted different colors. Some of them will be white, some of them will be gray, some of them will be black. And as you get that different color, you'll get different levels of heat as it attracts more sunlight and everything. So it's all a bunch of different ways to skin the same cat. The goal is to age your whiskey the way you want it, and to get those temperature changes the way you were hoping for, so it can create a reliable product for you. So that's our quick breakdown of rick houses, rack houses, warehouses, barrel houses, bunch of different names for the same thing, and hopefully when you're out here in Kentucky, you'll get to see some of them.